Hi, this is Chris. This is my last video for my low-carb, high-fat eating experiment. I have to admit it wasn't easy to keep up with a strict diet, especially when I went out for shopping. That's the end. 30 days have passed and today I took my final measurements. And overall I've lost around 4 kilograms of weight, which is 8.8 pounds, 9 centimeters of my waist, which is about 3.5 inches, and I've also gained around 700 grams of pure muscle mass, even though I was on a slight calorie deficit, but it was usually less than 10%. My fat-free mass index increased slightly as well. Well, it is connected with muscle mass increase anyway. My body fat percentage went from 14 at the beginning to 11% today. On a picture that's on your screen now, you can see my progress pictures. The first one was taken on 1st of May. I was around 14-15 something between percent of body fat, with over 90 kilos or 200 pounds of body weight. As I told you before, for 3 weeks before the experiment I ate quite a lot of food. I wanted to gain as much fat as possible for that experiment and for my results to be as visible as possible. You can see I was a bit of fatty and chubby there. There was no abs. My shoulders looked very narrow in comparison to my belly. Of course, you can also see that I've had my beard on then, so it made my face a bit chubbier too. I've shaved off my beard too. It appears that I look younger without my beard. The next pictures show my physique after 30 days of high-fat diet. With just my macros changed, because I ate the same amount of calories I was eating on my well-balanced diet, and I've lost around 4 kilograms of pure fat mass. There are also few flexed pictures, as you can see on the screen. The striations in my muscles are more visible than they were before. As you can see, my chest is more visible, and an overall look is way better than it was before. The next thing you will see on the screen are my macronutrients values for every single day of the month. As you can see, I ate around 30% of protein, 60% of fat, and less than 10% of carbohydrates. The macros, well, actually the only thing I changed about my eating, I may have proved, at least in my case, that calorie is not a calorie, because I didn't notice so rapid fat loss when I was on my well-balanced diet, even though I ate the same amount of calories. The fat loss, muscle mass increase, decreasing my waistline were huge advantages of this high-fat eating. But let's talk about an overall summary of what I've actually noticed about that eating. Well, I didn't notice any changes in the way I felt, not counting this nuts incident in the middle of my experiment, which I told you before in my last video. I think there was as far as I remember, there was a minor loss of energy, but I think my body was just adapting to that carbohydrate restriction. and I got used to it at the end of the experiment, so it was not a big issue. Unfortunately, there was a strength loss. I was able to bench and squat a lot less than I was on my well-balanced diet. Well, the strength loss was kind of weird because my muscle mass increased, so going by that I should be able to squat more and I should be able to bench more, but I think it may have been the adaptation of my body to a carb restriction, so let's blame low energy levels for that. Now, another few points I've actually seen and I've noticed during the experiment. High fat, low carb diet is great for really rapid fat loss and decreasing waistline without huge restriction of calories. You can easily get rid of your water weight even within just few days of this type of eating. High amount of protein associated with this type of eating will also prevent you from losing muscle mass even on calorie deficit, and it can even increase it with proper training. There should be no carbohydrate restriction, especially extreme carb restriction, when your job depends on your brain functioning extensively for prolonged periods of time. So if you're using your brain quite a lot, don't use carbohydrate restrictions because it may actually slow you down, especially when you're making some kind of very important decisions. Overall, I think it is pointless to keep that way of eating for a long period of time unless you are genetically adjusted to it, like my grandfather, for example. He ate a lot of fat, a lot of protein and very little carbs, just some potatoes once a day, and those were the only carbs he was actually eating. He lived a very, very long life. He was lean and strong throughout his whole life. Your training may need to be regressed because strength increase is only temporary and occur only in the adaptation stage of your the high fat diet. And the picture on the screen shows all my measurements done throughout a whole month. So you can check my fat mass, my lean body mass and my fat-free mass index, and also the mass of my body fat throughout the whole month and on every single day. As you can see, today my weight is 86.6 kilograms, which is around 190 pounds, I guess. So this is quite good. I'm quite lean, and as you've seen on the pictures, change was incredible. It has only been 30 days and I've lost quite a lot of weight, and all of that was pure fat. For more of my thoughts, please visit my website at chrishf.com. Please like this video, please subscribe, and I hope you will watch my next vlog, which will start in July, about my vegan experiment, where I will only eat plant-sourced foods, and will also measure my lean body mass, my fat mass and my fat-free mass index. So everything will be very, very thorough, and I hope you like it. And remember, keep training, keep developing those iron arms, and see you next time.